Howdy y'all, this is Redwolf, and today we're going to be talking about axes. So this is part of our Going to Sigma series, and part of the requirements for going to the instructor course are a 13 to 18 inch axe of some sort. I'm assuming primarily for the bow making course, since they're doing a lot of stuff with saws. And with that in mind, I'm going to kind of base this on less tree felling ability and more tree trimming and wood carving aspects of some of the axes I've got. 13 to 18 inches. Normally I carry a 30 inch to 3 foot when I like the bigger ones, or at least the bigger handles on the axes, so I can get more work done more efficiently. I think I see what they're doing with Sigma. I won't really have a good opinion until I get there and get it done. So, of the stuff that I use regularly that's close to their size range, several of them are a little bit over. Instead of 18 inches, these are like 22 and 23 respectively. The only one I have that fully fits the size criteria is my my Tomahawks. This is one I got from the Pathfinder store. I'm really not sure what model it is. Matter of fact, it might say 615 or something right there, but I put a little bit of wear and tear on that. But I'm going to do a little bit of head-to-head testing. Probably going to just mainly do the chopping and all that. Give you a brief overview of the different axes. Okay. So, the first axe up, which is going to be the most familiar on my channel, is going to be my Tomahawks. This has I think it's 16 inch overall length. Weighs something like 14 ounces, so it's a little less than a pound. It's got a really good shape to it. I don't think grind is quite the right word. But we got one thing is I really like is this is thick right here. We have this. Axes work more on a wedge, shape to split wood fibers instead of a thin knife edge to slice through them, and I really like that. Big advantages here are the weight, particularly with the rest of the kit I'm going to be carrying. This is currently my front runner, just because I'm not expecting to be cutting down huge trees with it. If they're expecting us to cut down stuff to build a log cabin with, they wouldn't ask for a 13 inch axe in the first place. And this will go really good with the rest of my kit. It'll pack light, which is what it's designed for. It does have the hardened and tempered pole on it, so I can hammer stuff in it without having it mushroom out, which is a problem I've had with one of my other axes. It does have the stained handle, which is muy bueno for keeping, just don't have to care for it as much. It's fairly weather resistant. We'll get some testing on all these in a minute. I think I'm going to get the testing done just all at once, side by side, and we'll talk about it. Okay. Next one is probably the oldest axe that's still in my inventory. It's a little loose right here on the handle right now. All of these are Tomahawk style. There's the handles, the heads slide up the handle instead of like a hatchet that slides over the top, and then you peen it down with a wedge of some sort. This is the arms and armor. I believe it's the Danish Handax. That's what it is. It's got a 4 or 5 inch cutting surface. I believe it's a 23 inch handle. It's got the little flare right here. I've heard some people call that a beak before. It's thin. It's really well designed. It doesn't look as good as some of these other ones. Like here's a cold steel. For example, you can see there's a little bit different shaping to them. You wouldn't think being smaller that would feel better, but it really makes a difference, and it's really controllable, which I really like about it. On the weight scale, it's the heaviest one I've got. These things are like 2 1/8, 2 1/4 pounds. Real thick, massive shape to it. Here's my Tomahawks for kind of a more direct comparison. Like I mentioned earlier, the Tomahawks, this one does not have the tempered pole, And you can see how I've done some damage to it pounding. Primarily tent stakes, I think, and stuff. But I've used this axe a lot. This is the axe that I go off grid with when I go off grid. When I used to do mountain man stuff like that, I split up cordwood with this, bust cordwood down into tinder. Got a lot of miles on this axe, and I've sort of retired it for a little while. I didn't want to wear it out. I'm thinking that this might be just the ticket for where I'm going. The last one is the one that it's kind of my, I hate to say the one I don't care about, but you knife guys know what I'm talking about. This is the one you hand your buddy. This is the one that you don't mind going out there and chunking, all that, and that's the cold steel. This one's the Norse Hawk, which I like. It's, you know, it's kind of fighty. You know, I can do a lot of different techniques with it. Solid hickory handle. It's thicker than the other one, so it's less likely to break, particularly when throwing. You know, you miss or you over penetrate the target. That does happen from time to time. Big things I don't like about it, and I'll show compared to my Danish one here. It's more knife and less axey. It's used for they design them for throwing and for soft woods and for sticking against the grain. It makes perfect sense for what they're doing with them. I might rebevel mine a little bit. I got a buddy that does stuff like that. And the other big complaint with cold steel is they put these screws in here that have a lot of trouble coming out when you start using, so you get this little bit of wobble. And I really hate that. That's the opposite of what you want. It's something like this, you want it to be firm because it slides. The more you use it, the further it slides up, and this keeps it from doing that. I'm assuming it's something they do so that they don't fall off in the showroom. But it also damages the pole a little bit, because now you got a hole there that anything you hit with it's going to have a little stud there in case you need to do some like survival smithing type stuff. I've seen some guys do that. But all in all, it's a pretty good cutter. I mean, for the price you pay, I mean, these go 35, 45 bucks out the door. Definitely comparable to any hatchet I've ever had in the same price range. But I figure that's enough talk right now. Let's get some cutting done. Get to the meat of the video. Okay, so first up is going to be my Tomahawks. Since this is an axe, I'll do 6 licks and try and keep it all in relatively the same spot so we can get a good feel for accuracy and for chopping power. I ain't too bad. Let's see. We'll go ahead and move on. So this is going to be the arms and armor. I think I got that fairly well in frame up there. Just get this over here a little bit. Alright. So this will be the arms and armor. And I am cutting into a knot right here, so it's not going to look just super impressive. But you can see what I mean about the cutting power right there. Alright, and this will be the cold steel. Second to reposition the camera here a little bit. So as you can see, I've got everything kind of lined up on what it did. This is going to be my Tomahawks. Made it in through, I mean, pretty good chunk. I mean, we're talking half an inch, 3/4 of an inch there without any real trouble. Real good control with it. Something I've always liked about it. The Danish Axe, I started chopping into this knot right here, and when it didn't bust through, I started paying more attention to the knot instead of the initial cut, which may or may not have been a mistake, but you can see how much power the cutting potential that is. That completely washed out my Tomahawk's cut. And my cold steel, you know, I got a couple chops here and a couple here, and I had some problem with the thing rolling, which is going to happen anytime you're on camera, because nothing's ever going to work out the way it's supposed to. And like I said, this bites because it's got a wedge. This is nice because it's kind of in the middle. The cold steel got stuck a lot. It's designed for throwing, it's designed for sticking. And I think I'm going to take it out of the running for what I'm doing. Alright, now there's one more test I wanted to show. It's a little bit harder to get in frame, but I'm gonna give it a try here. And that's gonna be, like I was talking, the kind of the crafting angle of it for stuff like bow making or tent stakes and stuff like that. And that's show a little bit of the controllability factor here. I'm gonna start with my Tomahawks again. I'm hoping y'all can see this fairly well up there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this side. It might break. I'll go ahead and peel this side right here down. See, I got that fairly straight, fairly smooth, fairly quickly. Almost no arm strain there. It's a really nice axe, really good edge holding. Really need to take it out and play with it more. Now on this side, going to be a little bit harder to do. I might go ahead and do this up here. I'm going to try and smooth it out the same way I did over there with this one. Okay. Got a little bit more power right there. Ain't wanting to stay up on the log very well. You see that a lot quicker, a lot easier, not a lot much different to tell. The wider beard here means that as I'm cutting more, as I'm doing more, I can cut a lot more wood off at a time, which is pretty nice. I think I'm going to move on to conclusions now. Alright, I think we got the camera more or less squared away there. I hope y'all liking these kind of slightly less formal videos. They're a lot easier to shoot and certainly a lot easier to edit and all that jibber jabber. But I mean, I'm really at an impasse. I can see why I kept both of these around for so long. I'm really leaning toward this. I mean, I naturally tend to carry less gear, but slightly heavier, higher performing gear. If I could meet the weight criteria for the rest of my kit, make it carryable, I think this Arms and Armor is the clear winner. Clear winner. I mean, these, and it's priced about halfway between the Cold Steel and the Tomahawks. I mean, it's really good, really good bang for the buck on it. If I can't swing the weight, I'm gonna carry a Tomahawks. I mean, I might not be able to cut my way through a zombie horde with it quite like I would with this one, but for what I'm doing, this is more than enough axe for what I expect to be doing, and I'll be well served either way. So until next time, this is Redwolf signing off. If y'all got any opinions on the subject down in the comments, let me know. Got anything y'all want to see? Be happy to hear about it. Till next time, y'all keep up the good fight.